And we're live. Time to talk about the Nets again. Shocker. What else would we be talking about? The Yankees? No, baseball doesn't exist. What's up, y'all? Thanks for the patience. Thanks for waiting. It's another shitty weather day in New York. Got a lot going on this morning and this afternoon and this evening. But it's time to talk about the last two games in this Nets world of ours. Our world. Nets world. What up, Jared? I see ya. I see ya, playa. What's up, Jethawk? I see ya. Yeah, we're going to talk about that much-needed win. I called for urgency, right? I was like, Nets need to have some urgency right now. Not now, but right now. People talking about next season. I don't subscribe to that. Let's see. When the Celtics play the Hornets tonight, they'll probably wash them too. We'll talk about that Celtics game. Not that much, though. The focus now, after we beat the 9 seed, the team right underneath us, focus now is Philly and New York. We got a big week here. That's the first win of the week. Philly tomorrow. The Knicks on Sunday. They are must-win games. All of them. All of them are must-win games. And we're about to start the pod. 2-minute mark. I'll count us in. See some people in the chat. I got to retweet my own tweet. That always helps. All right. Here we go, folks. Talking Nets, episode 155. Keith McPherson coming to you live. And we're going to talk about the Nets. Obviously, we got to talk about that Sunday nationally televised Celtics game. Masterclass from Jason Tatum. And then last night, we got a masterclass from his Duke brother, Kyrie Irving. 50 burger down in Charlotte, North Carolina, not too far from where both of those guys played. We'll talk about Ben. We'll talk about the Sixers game coming up, the narratives around that, the news around injuries on this team, and everything else going on in our world. Nets world. Talking Nets. Let's get it. No, now let's get it. Yes, sir. Welcome back to Talking Nets, episode 155. We are alive. I know they left us for dead. I know they wanted us to die, but we ain't gonna die yet. Last episode, I said it's now. Not next year for the Nets. It's right now. You have two of the best players in the world in their primes. We also have one of the question marks in the NBA world, but in his prime, and could be one of the best players depending on what he looks like. And we'll see Ben Simmons sitting on the bench in Philly real soon. That should be a treat for the Sixers fans. We're going to talk about that. But let's not bury the lead here. Kyrie Irving is ridiculous. And these mandates are ridiculous. And we've been talking about it forever. And I'm not going to spend too much time today talking about that nonsense. Honestly, for me, it's just like, they're making an example out of Kyrie. I think the mandates can be dropped. I think they can be changed. They're man-made rules. They are government rules that the government can decide with a simple swipe of a pen and a signature. Mayor Adams could say this is done, but what I wanted to say on this podcast today, that it is not about numbers of cases, right? You hear Eric Adams say, oh, we got to wait for these numbers to go down, and it's about the city, and Oh, I don't want to imagine closing the city up again. Shut up, bro. Like, that's nonsense. Nobody believes that. What this is about is one number, and that number is 1430. 1,430 people lost their jobs in New York City because they refused to take the shot. They had a whole year and they refused to get vaccinated, which is perfectly fine. But you make those choices and decisions knowing that you can lose your job. Kyrie made his decision knowing that he would not lose his job. Kyrie made his decision knowing that he had money in the bank and he had to just wait this thing out and see this thing through. And he waited about 2 months and he was allowed to resume playing part-time, playing on the road, like that masterclass you saw last night. And now, fast forward to now, he's waiting on the mandate to be dropped, as there's no mandate for unvaccinated fans. There's never been a mandate for unvaccinated players that are visitors coming into the Barclays Center. So we're just going to stay stuck on stupid, and they don't mind staying stuck on stupid because they are pairing Kyrie Irving not playing in Brooklyn because he refused taking the vaccine. They're pairing that with not sending the wrong message. Eric Adams says he doesn't want to send the wrong message, and that wrong message would be to give Kyrie access to do his job full-time. Reminder, he never lost his job. But these folks that lost their job full-time. So they're going to make an example out of Kyrie and not let him play in New York as a way to just say, oh, we'll make an example out of this guy. This is the most prominent person. This is the most rich and famous athlete in our city that refused the vaccine. So we will punish him and we will keep him out for as long as we potentially can to set an example. Don't any of you other celebrities or rich people try to challenge the system. Aaron Rodgers, that's completely different. Aaron Rodgers is out in Wisconsin, MVP, highest paid player in the NFL now, refused to get the shot, lied about it. Kyrie never lied. Kyrie asked for privacy on the matter. This guy lied about it, said, yeah, I'm immunized. Literally lied to the media. Kyrie said, just please respect my privacy. And the opposite things happened. I wonder why. We support Kyrie started way before this vaccine, way before this mandate, because Kyrie gets wrongfully dragged and painted out to be the villain every single time without fail. But that comes with the territory of being one of the greats. That's what comes with the territory of being one of the most ridiculous basketball players we've ever seen. They hate you when you're great. And the greats know that the hate comes with it, but it sucks to see rules and mandates and laws in effect that don't make any sense and have robbed us from some of that greatness. As Nets fans, we have been robbed of some of that greatness. And I understand there's a lot of Nets fans that feel like Kyrie is to blame. He is to blame some, but you can't blame him for inventing the COVID virus. You can't blame him for inventing a vaccine or mandates that said you have to take the vaccine. In the NBA, there was no rule saying you had to take the vaccine. Many players we saw play unvaccinated. In New York, it's a different place. It's just the way it is around here. There's a ton of people from all over the world. Place is overcrowded and overcautious to every single thing, as they should be. I understand it. I don't have to agree with it. Actually, I don't have to understand it. Fuck that. It makes no sense. And we all have known that for some time. But now here we are with the final countdown, about a month left until playoffs, where if they want to keep this charade going on for another month, it's going to be one of the worst things we've seen as Nets fans in a long time. There is an opportunity here where they could just lift this mandate and Kyrie can come back and people are not going to care. People are not going to say, oh my God, rehire those 14,000 people. Those people are subway workers, firefighters, police officers, completely different than being a highly paid entertainer, paid for the skills that you developed. It's all nonsense. It's super bogus. But as Nets fans, we got to just stay positive and believe that having Kyrie at least halftime is better than not having Kyrie at all, and that we'll be able to do what we got to do. We don't have a good home record, and yeah, you can blame some of that on Kyrie. This season has been up and down, and yeah, you can blame some of that on Kyrie, but I just don't get the fans that don't understand that This man did not want to inject himself to play basketball. If somebody told you you can't go out and play pickup basketball unless you take this shot in the arm, you probably wouldn't want to do it either. This is his job and his profession. Luckily, he's done his job and profession at a high level for 10 years where he's got money in the bank, where he knew this too shall pass, and he didn't feel like he needed to take the shot this year. Yeah, his teammates all decided that they needed to do that too for personal reasons. You can sell it like it's for the team, but everyone makes their own personal decision. And Kyrie's decision has been fine by me from the beginning, and it's fine by me now. So, onward. Here we go. News, I guess. Not really, but it is news. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's been out. He's going to be out this whole road trip. Sucks to not have him for this Sixers game. We're going to need his scoring, but it's okay. Clax, I like that Clax has been playing more. Drummond, I think, is going to be ready for it. Revenge game, obviously, for him, and he's familiar with Embiid. And we'll face DeAndre Jordan on Thursday. Great. Also, and LaMarcus Aldridge is out with a hip. He went home to get like a second opinion on it. I just expect him to be out this whole week. I don't expect to see him play at earliest until next week. I don't think he's going to play in Philly, and I don't expect him to play Sunday against the Knicks at home. Cam Thomas, you guys all saw the back spasm. His back tightened up on him. But immediately I came out on Twitter and I said, hey, he's a young guy. He'll bounce back from that. And I know the Nets want to ramp up everyone, but this kid is 20 years old. If he's having back issues, it's not like a grown man that's over 30 that has back issues. And even Ben Simmons with this back issue they manufactured, Cam Thomas should be back. And I hope he's back by Thursday. I hope he's ready to go by tomorrow. He was questionable last night in that Hornets game. Okay, now let's go to the first game that we got to talk about today. That Celtics game, man. It was a nationally televised game, Sunday game at 1 in the TD Garden where they're obsessed with Kyrie Irving. Nets lose 126-120. They do cover. And I won off that. Bing, 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 bing. Them parlays be hitting. Them parlays sometimes be hitting. Not when KD doesn't do what he usually does, but he handled business here. I should have went bigger. I should have went Kevin Durant plus 30. I went Kevin Durant plus 25 points. Jason Tatum over 25 points. Cash. Marcus Smart. 1 made 3. He had 3 made 3s, I believe. Bruce Brown hit a 3. That's a big plus. The over, the over was going to hit. And the Nets barely covered. Bruh, that half point means something. The Nets lost by 6, but my $10 parlay hit for 100. I'll take it. Now, hats off to Jason Tatum, right? I heard a lot of Nets fans saying, hey, we went toe-to-toe with one of the top defensive teams in the East. We went toe-to-toe with one of the superstars in the NBA, and it took a 50-point masterclass for them to beat us by 6. And sucks, but Kyrie had a little bit of a off night, off day. Not even, though. He still had 19. It's just like he missed some shots. He was 8 of 18, and something happens to him every time he's in Boston. His father played in Boston or went to school in Boston. He played in Boston for the Celtics. You know he hears everything those people are saying. I thought it was super weird for Jaylen Brown to be at the free throw line late in the game, and these guys are trying to seal the game, and their fans are chanting, Kyrie sucks. Kyrie sucks. He just laughed it off. But it was weak. And then you heard him come out in the post game and talk about the scorned ex-girlfriend stuff. That's a perfect example of these Celtics fans, right? And I say that to say this. Kyrie talked about how Celtics fans act like an ex-girlfriend that's wondering why I left, trying to get a text back, trying to get his attention, hoping for a text back. We have a similar situation with James Harden that I'd like to encourage Nets fans to move on from. And I will play some clips later that will give you more insight and make you understand what the leaders of your team feel about James Harden, who they've already had a relationship with for years. And you got to think about the narratives. On Talking Nets, all I do is talk about narratives. I call it the Narrative Basketball Association. If it was not for narratives, these would just be tall dudes hooping. You can see tall dudes hooping in a lot of places, not at this level, but the NBA is entertainment and the machine needs narratives, and we need to move on from James Harden. After Thursday, we got to move on. After tomorrow, we got to move on. Being butthurt over his decision to leave, fine. It literally is perfectly fine. We will be better off as fans and a fan base understanding that Brooklyn was just a pit stop for him to ultimately get back with his daddy, Daryl Morey. That's it. He wanted to be with Pops. Pops lets him do whatever he wants to do. I get that. I understand that. He wants to be with the rappers, Meek Mill, Lil Uzi. He wants to be next to Michael Rubin. I actually interviewed for Michael Rubin, met Michael Rubin back in 2018, right before we faced the Sixers. I got to resurface the clip of me talking about potentially working for Michael Rubin and entering the Sixers process. And that was before I started talking Nets. There's no way in hell I actually would have been able to do that. Even when I was thinking about it, I was like, could I see myself on the sideline at the Sixers game? No, it was never going to work. Our world, Nets world. Your boy is not on that side, but James Harden is, and that's perfectly fine. What else from this game? Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown gave us 16 points. Bruce Brown, minus this, talking about James Harden, minus James Harden, and after the trade, Bruce Brown has been also an addition. Seth Curry, Drummond, picks, Ben Simmons, whatever. Having Bruce Brown playing the forward position, just being active, steals, assists, points, rebounds. Bruce Brown has become more valuable to us. Sucks that we lost LA, like I said. He had 14 in the Celtics game. We're going to need some type of scoring from somewhere. I think if Cam Thomas doesn't get hurt in that game, we might have the scoring. He only played 4 minutes, 3 points. You think Cam couldn't have made up for 6 points if he had more minutes? I think so. So tough loss Sunday, nationally televised game. Good for the Celtics. Good for Ime Udoka. I think it's wild that he was on our bench, and now he's looking like the best coach that was on our bench last year, minus Mike D'Antoni. But he looks like a better coach than Jacques Vaughn and Steve Nash. That's another thing about this game. Late in this game, it's just like that was Steve Nash's first game back, and I'm not the one that bashes Steve Nash. I'm really not. I defend him more than a lot of folks do. But it's so clear late in games, who's got the upper hand, who's just like more experienced as a coach. It truly does scare me. Oh, also I hit on this. KD's talking about fans and not hitting the parlays. Well, I played this one last night. Well, I hit the 4-3 parlay for KD on Sunday. And then I tried to double dip and go for it again last night. My dumbass, I should have bet Kyrie. Kyrie was unconscious. He had 9 threes. If you would have bet, I think there was prop bets for him to have like 5 or 6. If you would have bet that, cash, straight cash, homie. But that's the thing about betting. It's night to night. You never really know. You never really know the deal. But, yeah, I just saw Craig Carton say, what's worse, Calvin Ridley betting on the game or Kevin Durant acknowledging that he threw the game? Well, like, he didn't throw the game. He just laughed, right? And if you watch the game last night, which we'll get into for a second, KD didn't want to come out of the game. KD was stuck at 9 points in that first half. I had bet on him to have over 30. I had bet on him to have over 4 threes. Did not cash. But then he laughed it off after the game, right? He deferred to Kyrie. Kyrie was hot. Kyrie was going out of his mind crazy last night. You don't get in the way of that. You don't take away possessions and the ball from Kyrie Irving when he's unconscious like that. So Kevin Durant said, when them parlays don't hit, this is for years of slander from NBA fans. I'm grateful I have this much power now because a fan said I want Kevin Durant prosecuted immediately after this game. And I think KD knows this fan because afterwards he replied to him and said, I just had to put you on the Jumbotron. It's all fun and games, folks. You think Kevin Durant, averaging 29, 30 points a game, wanted to have a game last night where he barely broke double digits. He barely got into double-digit points. He had 14, and for most of the game, he had 9 and then 10. I don't think anybody bet that. But now to the Celtics, or now after the Celtics game Sunday, we know that this game yesterday, going into it, we're like, this is a do-or-die game. We've already lost to Charlotte. Charlotte's right under us in the standings at number 9. We need to go on their floor and establish dominance and send a message to the NBA. We're the 8th seed. They're the 9th seed. Watch us blow them out. We're the 8th seed. We're the 9th seed, but we don't belong down here with them. We're the 8th seed. They're the 9th seed. They don't want smoke with us, and neither do you top seeds. That's the message I got from watching the game at the Spectrum Center down in Charlotte, North Carolina last night. Your Brooklyn Nets beat the Charlotte Hornets 132-121 behind a 50-point masterclass from Kyrie Irving. And it's just good to see. It's just good to see. I love that he bounced back like this. I was mad at myself for not knowing this. I do know this. There's 2 things. When Kyrie has a bad game, he bounces right back. He doesn't have back-to-back off nights. And when people are talking shit about Kyrie in the media, I think he's like me and like LeBron and all the other people that look for the haters. We look for the haters as motivation. We read through the comments for motivation. We know this shit is bogus. We know it's not true, but we use it as fuel. We internalize it and say, okay, I got something for you. The next time I got to perform, the next time I'm out there, I got something for you. I'm going to remember that. And Kyrie came out on a mission last night, an efficient mission, 15-19. 78.9%. 9 made threes out of 12. 11 out of 13 from the free throw line. Add 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. The man is ridiculous. Plus 14, a total of 50 points. Kyrie Irving, we've been robbed of your greatness. Just been a lot of nonsense this year. We've been robbed of your greatness in Brooklyn. I've been to, 20-plus games this year, and Kyrie should have been playing. There were unvaccinated players like Justin Holiday, Trey Burke, Jonathan Isaac, other guys that are probably on the bench that we don't know about. And now that COVID magically doesn't exist, I don't even know what the fuck we're on. I really don't know what we're doing with this. Patty last night, it was good to see Patty pulling it. Patty, thrills. He had 4 threes. I saw a tweet today that he could potentially break the Nets record that D'Lo set a couple years back for made threes in a season. I would love to see Patty do that because I really want Patty to stay another year. It's been a rough year where he might want to dip out, but depending on how this year ends, he might want to stay in net. He's the mayor in Brooklyn from what I heard from Andrew Perloff at CBS Radio. They live in the same development, and he said, everybody loves Patty. The word is always flying around when Patty's around town. And shout out to Andre Drummond, man. Andre Drummond got hit in the nose and he got activated. He had the bloody nose at first where I'm like, damn, he might be out for a little bit. Nah, he went right back in the game, played 24 minutes, gave us 20 points, 14 rebounds, solid. Bruce Brown with another solid night, 14 points. He had 3 steals, and there was a point in this last few minutes before the half where Bruce was all over everything. KD, cut down them turnovers, bro. 5 turnovers. I see you, Slim. I don't usually get on you because you're all world. You're a basketball alien, but you got to chill with them turnovers. 5 turnovers is not great. And against the Celtics, you had 7 turnovers, KD. Take care of the ball. But, yeah, other than that from this game, it was just good to see a dominant win, a bounce-back win by the Nets. When everybody is saying the Nets must win this game, have to win this game, they responded. And I was saying before the game, okay, if it's a must-win, this is like a play-in game, right? This is like a playoff game. Let's see how the Nets respond in a must-win situation after losing 4 in a row. 2 of those games with Kevin Durant back. 1 of those games with Kyrie and KD. Can't lose another one with KD and Kyrie. They did not. Nets win 132-121. Now let's move on from that and play some of the clips from the post game last night where after the game immediately, I just think it's hilarious too. After the game, the question shifted quickly from the Hornets and this game, I guess people didn't care about it at all.
It makes for good stories. It makes for good narratives. It makes for good.
Hold on. Not yet. Gotta cue those up. Basically, people shifted right away from the current game. That game's done. Let's talk about the next game. And the next game is against James Harden, where Ben Simmons will travel. He's not shook. He's a grown-ass man. He'll sit there just fine and take his heckling from the Philadelphia scum. All right.
It
No, I need to play the KD video first, and then I'll play Kyrie. So what I'm trying to get right here is the post game.
Would it be any different than a
All right,
regular
here we go.
game?
I'm using a different feature, so this is not working the same way that I would like it to. But I think what we got to do here is okay, I got it. So here's Kevin Durant talking about James Harden and talking about the atmosphere and Ben Simmons and Philadelphia as we approach this game coming up here tomorrow night. Will this play?
Would it be any different than a regular game?
There we
when
go.
I was younger, 22, 23, and you see a guy that just got traded, and your emotions everywhere. You don't know how you gonna approach the game because it feels like a big game because you're playing against one of your former teammates. But it is what it is. I mean, it's another game for us, and we looking to win, and they looking to win and move up in the standings for us, and they looking to maintain where they are. So I know James was here, and he built some relationships with a couple people here. But the end of the day, we looking to go out there and hoop.
As you look back, even in the last couple weeks, do you think there was anything you guys could have said or done differently that would have changed his mind and wanted to make him want to stay here long term?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you look at it, try to look at it from his perspective. You look up and Kai's not playing, and then I'm injured, and he hasn't won a championship before. So he's looking at his he's 32 years old, I guess, and looking at himself and wanting to make a decision to get on a team that can kind of get him to that contending, being one of the last teams standing. So if you look at it from his perspective, you just say it is what it is. You can't really control how somebody feels when they're thinking like that. And, hopefully stay healthy and their team stay healthy and we stay healthy and we have a great year. They have a great year. We can just move on from this,
Do you say anything extra to Ben having played in some hostile environments yourself in your career about Thursday and what it could look like in the environment?
Absolutely not. That's one of those things he's going to have to experience for himself. I can't go over there and nobody's going to hold his hand. I'm sure it's going to be some personal attacks. There's going to be some, something that might, some words that may trigger you as personally. But that's just how fans are. They want to get under our skin. They want to, let their voices be heard. I think part of the experience of coming to an NBA game is the heckle. Some people don't even enjoy basketball. They just like, their lives are so shitty that they get to just aim it at other people.
That's facts. That's facts. Let's now play what Kyrie had to say after the game. I thought two things from what KD said. I love how he's like he low key shitted on James Harden. Like, yeah, he's never won a ring before. Like, he's getting up there in age. Everybody knows, right? He went and paired with Joel Embiid. Both of them have 0 rings. Playing in Philly, home of Allen Iverson, 0 rings. I wish 0 rings on Philadelphia forever. I still have a hard time believing that they actually won the Super Bowl. Now let's see what Kyrie had to say after the game.
Build up for our league, and it's never too personal, but we understand that as competitors we want to win the game. So we're going there with a resolve, with a focus, and just ready for whatever. We know the Philly crowd is going to be what it is. Everybody likes to build that up. But specifically for us, it's not about any individual matchups. It's about us going in there and just being a great team and building on what we set out to do.
A couple weeks later now since the deal went down, you think there is anything you guys could have said or done differently that would have made James want to stay here long term?
I mean, like I said, some of those questions probably James can answer better. I was coming in, like late into the things, and I was told one thing, then told another thing, and then trade deadline comes up, and then now it's a whole different situation. Now I'm answering questions about like what happened. I don't have a timeline of whether or not things could have gone better or not. I thought we were in a good swing, but everybody has their own vision starting off seasons. Everybody has their own vision, starting off their careers and ending their careers. If that's what James wanted, then I respect his decision, and that's just what it is. I wish him nothing but peace and love. Like, we have a great friendship, but it didn't work out. Wish things could have been communicated better for all of us, as men. But hey, like, no hard feelings here with me or anyone else. I mean, it's organization, so all of us communicating. We're all responsible for it, but we're still in the same league. It's not like he went somewhere different where we're not going to see him again, and we're not going to see him in the summertime. It's just, like I said, it's great for the league to build up things like this, but we have a group in our locker room that we just want to be mature about going into Philly and handling business and then moving on.
Okay. So what I liked about what Kyrie said was, hey, like, we're friends. We have a great relationship. They've been friends for probably a decade. And they're going to see James again. In the summer, they'll probably work out somewhere, run into him, parties, whatever, NBA circles. The NBA is a brotherhood. It's a fraternity. And I know we as fans buy into the hype and the narratives and the rivalries. Well, that's wrestling. That's WWE. And the NBA does a good job of creating those matchups and creating those rivalries and having every reporter and media person, myself included, talk about that and have a side or a stance and, speak on how they feel. But these guys, it's just basketball. I played the clip for you guys a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Andre Drummond said, it doesn't matter if it's Sacramento or Boston. It's basketball. Andre Drummond has played for a bunch of teams against a bunch of guys. He's had some of these guys as teammates. Like, it's just basketball to them. They want to win because they're competitors. They want to win because they want to be good basketball players. They want to win for that reason. It's not so much New York versus Philly, but there is a natural New York versus Philly vibe, right? The Yankees beat the Phillies in the World Series. I always throw that at them. New York Giants versus New York Eagles. It's a hell of a rivalry. Every year. There's a ton of history in that. Basketball. Now, we as Nets fans look to that 2018-2019 series where Joel Embiid elbowed Jared Allen and Jared Dudley got in Ben Simmons' face. There is a rivalry there. But look at what has changed. Ben Simmons is on our side now. That whole team is pretty much gone now from the Brooklyn Nets. Joe Harris is done for the season. That team is pretty much all gone now from the Brooklyn Nets. It's a complete different team. And KD spoke to having continuity in the team. Like, it's hard to have a rivalry, he said, when you're not meeting in the playoffs. And when the Nets met the Sixers in the playoffs, completely different teams. Embiid is still there, and Embiid is the main focus. But I'm excited for the game. I can't wait to see it. The Brooklyn Brigade will be heading down there Thursday. I will be holding down the radio. I'll be on Thursday before Brooklyn Nets radio, during halftime, and after. And I think that's where I should be, even though I would love to go to Philly. I was supposed to go to the first one and got in a car accident that morning, so I just stayed put, didn't feel like driving after that. I'd love to go to Philly and sauce them up and talk shit to their fans. That is just one of the things I'm good at, one of the things I like to do in visiting arenas or at home. But I know the Brigade will hold it down. I know there'll be a ton of Nets fans there. And here's what I'm going to tell y'all about that game. Ben Simmons will be fine. He's a grown-ass man. Sticks and stones. They can say anything they want to him. There's going to be hella security around him, around his bench. If someone throws something, they are immediately getting arrested. If someone throws something, they will be kicked out of the game and probably banned for life. So that would be super dumb if you're a Sixers fan and you love the team. Also, it's going to be a good game. I am not sleeping on the combination of James Harden and Joel Embiid. That's two MVP-level players playing at an MVP level right now. They have won a few games together. I think they've won almost all their games together. I don't think they've lost yet, actually. So for the Nets to go in there and knock them off, we're going to need KD, Kyrie, Bruce Brown, Seth, Drummond, everybody on point. Steve Nash, please be on point. Please have a game plan. I'm praying that the defense is together, because if this defense is not together, there's no way you're stopping the combination of Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tyrese Maxey, who's been going crazy lately with them too. It's going to be a points fest. It's going to be about scoring. So load up your parlays now. There's going to be points. There's going to be scoring. I don't expect there to be too much defense. I expect guys to have their way. I expect it to be a great scene coming up tomorrow night. Now let's play one voicemail. Give me 1 second. Okay, we have 3 voicemails, all from Big Fan Breezy. Let's go.
Yo, what up, Keith? This Big Fan Breezy, man. Yo, been for Tatum, man. Last year he was a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year. We could have utilized that game. I could see that without that, we could run Nick Clapp.
All right, that one was breaking up. But basically what I got from that was talking about, that was Monday. So Big Fan Breezy was talking about Ben Simmons and how we could have used him in that game. Yeah, no one could check Jason Tatum. And I don't expect Seth Curry and Kyrie Irving to be able to guard him manned up. Like Ben Simmons, you could sick Ben Simmons on him in the future. Let's see. That was the first one from Big Fan Breezy. Second one from Big Fan Breezy. It's a little bit longer. Let's see how much we got.
Yo, what up, Keith? Let's go next, man. Ben Breezy, man. We needed Ben for Tatum, and I'm starting to think that he's going to be very essential once he's in a lineup for players like Tatum. Our best defender and Ben Simmons to play Tatum. The sooner the better. I heard he's coming on the 13th. He'll be back in the lineup. Let's see what Nash does. He like to mix things up. I thought Nash did in that Boston game. His coaching was correct. It's getting better. And I like to see that right before the postseason. Shout out to KD. He's been playing excellent since he's been back. I can't wait to see Cam Thomas back in action. But I think that call, foul, it was a bad call for one. And two, I think that's going to be a wake-up call for Cam Thomas. We might see Cam Thomas next time.
Big Fan Breezy, I don't know, bro. You're breaking up on these. Here's the last one.
So, Keith is Big Fan Breezy. Shout out to you, bro, because through this whole drought, you've been optimistic, and I want to say I appreciate that, and I thank you as a fan, as a vlogger. You know what's up. But I wanted to ask you, did you have any dipping sauce for that 50-piece? Because the Charlotte Hornets did. We looking good out there, man. I think we back on the right track. I expect a win streak. What you think?
I appreciate you, Big Fan Breezy, and I appreciate you making sure you're heard and calling the voicemail. I put it out there always, hey, if you want to be on Talking Nets, call the voicemail. And right now there's a ton of people that want to be guests on Talking Nets, but the way that the business is shaping up for me, I just got to hold it down the rest of the season. I'll try to book some guests in between, but that's not priority right now. I just got to deliver episodes while this season is going and be here for this community that we built of Nets fans. And like Big Fan Breezy said, remaining positive. Why would I quit? I'm a Nets fan. I wasn't quitting on Sean Kilpatrick and Brooke Lopez. Like, I wasn't quitting on Darren Williams and that janky team that we put together with the wash fucking Celtics. I was just hoping that they figured it out. I was all the way in on Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert. I was in on Chioza. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm a Nets fan. I root for the Nets, and I understand that the Nets have some of the best players on the roster they've ever had. So, yes, I remain optimistic. You can call me foolish. You can call me whatever you want to call me, but I just remain optimistic until there's no games left. And I don't care about where we are in the standings right now because I think it's a sneaky situation for us. Our toughest test could be round 1. And if we escape round 1, we laugh all the way to the finals. I've watched a lot of sports in my life. I know crazy things can happen. In my senior year, we were the 7th seed. And here's a great story. We fell to the 7th seed because I got suspended for a couple weeks off some nonsense. Our backup or our starting linebacker got suspended for some nonsense. Our backup quarterback, who was our punter, a couple guys, we got suspended for some nonsense. So people underestimated our football team. And in practice, I practiced against my team. I ran the scout team in practice, and I made sure that these guys were ready. I went hard against them in practice, and I said, if y'all can stop me, you can stop whoever we're playing against. If y'all can break up passes and chase me down in practice, the game's going to be easy. So what happened? We go in the first round, 7 seed, knock off the 2 seed. My boy has the record from that game. Our running back, who I told, listen, bro, everybody's going to be keying on you. I'm not there to help you now. I'm not there to throw the ball, run the ball. It's all on you. He rushed for 256 yards. We advance. The next round, we're also underdogs. I coach my guys up. We all feel like we can do it. We got to win one game to get into the state championship. Surprise, surprise. We knocked them boys off. We did it. We're going to the ship. As the 7th seed, we go to Rutgers and we win the Central Jersey Group 3 state championship. No one expected us to do it, but we expected us to do it. I played in the state championship game, came back, did my thing, and we were the champions. So I'm always optimistic. I don't care about seeds. Just get in the dance. And the team that clicks and gels is the team that will win. And there are more cohesive teams that have already gelled. The Sixers are figuring it out. Seems like they're already gelled. The Bulls, the Bucks, the Cavaliers, even though they're hurt right now. The Nets have a healthy Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, even though Kyrie is part-time. They have Bruce Brown playing better than he's played. Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, Patty Mills, LaMarcus Aldridge when he comes back, Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton. We've got a team, a better team than we had last year when we were relying on Mike James in the playoffs. So why would I not be optimistic? This is fun. I'm watching a movie. I'm not leaving the movie theater because I don't like this part of the movie. I paid to see a show. And if the show isn't always perfect, that's okay. The show is not over. The show must go on. Our world, Nets world. All right, let's hit the chat. If anybody got anything in the chat, holler at me. I seen y'all going in. KD speaking facts. Yep, I see Big Fan Breezy in the chat. What up? James Johnson does some good. Yeah, I feel like he gets hated on. 35 years old, 12 years in the league. There's a reason he gets so much playing time for us, y'all. He does a lot of different things. Will says, will you be in Barclays Sunday? Yeah, most likely. I don't have a ticket yet. I think I want to sit with the block, the Brooklyn Brigade, just because that's where it's lit. That's where it's turned up at. That's where you're talking about the game to the fans that actually understand the game versus people sitting there like, should I clap now? What else? I know someone is dumb enough in Philly to throw something. Yeah, somebody will. Somebody will go to that game that doesn't care about going to games, doesn't really care that much about basketball, and they will be that jackass to get tossed. They will be the one to get thrown out. Hey, and Marks we trust. Say that. What's up, Jeremiah? Jethawk. Keith, greatness. Appreciate you. Just got to hope everybody stay healthy. Everyone has to hope that, and that's a great point by Kukara. In the NBA, every single year, we see some team get derailed by injuries, right? Right now, the Golden State Warriors were hotter than the sun. Steph, Clay came back. Where's Draymond been? They lost 5 games in a row. They're missing Draymond. They just broke that losing streak last night. The Suns, I think the Suns are the favorites because the Suns have been able to win without Book, without Chris Paul, and without Cam Johnson last night. They were able to win without 3 starters last night. That's a complete team and a well-coached team, a team that was in the finals. If the Nets think they're going to come out of the East, that's who we'll most likely face. But every year, somebody gets hurt. You think we can win a chip this year? I do. I'm sorry. You could call me a dumbass. You could say I'm delusional. I think we could win a chip this year because we have Kevin Durant. Did y'all not see KD last year? Jeff Green was his Robin to his Batman. If Kyrie stays healthy and is just on the road, I'm taking that. Cam Thomas exists. If Cam Thomas is healthy, that's another scorer. If LaMarcus Aldridge is healthy, that's another scorer. It won't be all on KD, but in those crunch time moments that it comes down to KD making a shot, yeah, I feel really good about that. When is LA coming back? I don't know. I just think next week. And there's 17 games left. I don't know. We need him ASAP. As a scoring big, and just in the rotation with Clax and Drummond, I just feel like we need him back. But let's take a look at the upcoming games. These games coming up are crucial, and they're against good teams. The schedule does not get easier for us. We're going to have to play our best basketball right now, and you should be a little worried. You should be a little shook. That's part of being on this ride, right? That's part of this roller coaster. I'm a baseball fan. I'm a Yankee fan. The Yankees will win 13 in a row and then lose 8 in a row. So looking at this schedule coming up here, The Nets will face the Sixers tomorrow, 7:30 in Philly. Kyrie will be available. That's a big one. Sunday, March 13th, I had hoped to be Kyrie's return to Barclays Center, but they're just going to be stuck on this dumb shit, and I can't waste time thinking about that. So we got the Knicks Sunday. We'll beat the Knicks with KD. The Magic in Orlando. That's an easy win. Kyrie will be available for that one Tuesday. Hopefully LaMarcus Aldridge is back by then. Then next Wednesday, second half of a back-to-back, we have to face Luka and the Mavericks at home where we don't win games. That's going to be tough. Then Friday, the Trailblazers come to town. We better beat them. That's a lock for a win. The week after that, Monday, March 21st, the Jazz come to Brooklyn. The Jazz are a good team. They kicked our ass in Utah. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one in Brooklyn. Then we got to go face Ja Morant in Memphis. Doesn't get any easier. Right after we face Ja Morant, we got to go face the Heat, who we have not been able to beat yet, in Miami, where they play hella tough. And then we come home to face a Hornets team that's potentially going to be right around where we are in the standings again. And then last but not least here, Monday, March 29th. Well, I don't know if it's a Monday. I don't know why I said that. But March 29th, second to last game of the month, we play the Pistons. And the Pistons have been tough. They've been scrappy. We can't take them lightly. And then the last game of the month, March 31st, we face the Bucks at home. And the Bucks are going to be ramping up, ready for playoffs. It's going to start getting crazy, y'all. So, this is it. Lock in. This is it. This is the best time of year. March Madness in the college basketball world and March Madness in the NBA world. All right, I'll come back to the questions. I already answered when is LA coming back, hopefully next Tuesday. How many of the upcoming free agents do you think will stay? There's no way for me to tell that because I don't know how this season's going to win. We win a championship and everything's going to change. We get a first-round exit and everything's going to change. That game against Philly will be fire. How do you think we defend Embiid with Drummond, with Claxton? Drummond, Claxton in the paint, and maybe we double him. I don't know. We don't really do that too much. We just switch, and we'll see. Maybe we run that zone, but I don't really like when we do that either. I think we just got to have a body on him. I feel like we can beat the Suns. We're more physical than them big wise. I wouldn't dare say that right now. I wouldn't dare say that we can beat the Suns. They're a really good team. Clax and Aldridge are a killer two-man front court, for sure. And playing Clax with Drummond, playing Clax with Aldridge is a smart move. You think Ben Simmons going to play after the 76ers game? Yeah, I would love to see him play. I don't think he'll play against the Knicks, but the week after, we need him. Like I just said, with this upcoming schedule, well, I would hope Ben Simmons can play Wednesday when Luka comes to town, March 16th. Give me Ben Simmons at least for 15, 20 minutes during that game. We need the defense. All right, what else before we close? Yeah, Mavericks and Jazz are tough games. Grizzlies too. Tomorrow is the game we can do a lot of damage. Yeah, tomorrow is the game that if the Nets beat the Sixers tomorrow in Philly, we change the narrative the rest of the way out. Are you going to the game Sunday against the Knicks? I'm going to try. I don't have tickets yet, but most likely, yeah. It's my wife's birthday this weekend. I did ask her this morning if she cares if I go, and I think she said it's cool if I go because she's going to be with her friends Sunday morning. So I'll see y'all at the Clay Sunday. That's all we've got, man. Appreciate y'all. Talking Nets, episode 155. Make sure you subscribe to the pod, keeping the audio going, but video is where it's at. Video content, man. I am going to get some help, and I'm not going to, randomly pick fans to help. I'm going to have a company help Talking Nets become. Talking Nets started under a company. I didn't start this on my own. I've been carrying it on my own, and I'm carrying it to get it to another company or another brand that can help me create a better product for you guys, a better show for you guys, a better brand for you guys. On my own, I've created a Twitter account with 14.5 thousand followers, and I apologize to whatever listeners think I'm flexing right now. I know I know there was a fan that wrote, "Oh, this guy is fake humble," some stupid review, but it's facts. It's it's not being cocky or not being humble when it's true, right? When everything you're saying is facts, you're not bragging about it. I built this brand. It exists. It's an actual thing. It has helped a lot of Nets fans. It's a place that Nets fans go for conversation around their team that they don't get at other places. There are other Nets podcasts that hate on the team. There are other Nets podcasts that consistently hate on Kyrie, that are still saying Kyrie should get vaccinated, knowing that that was never going to happen. There are Nets fans that have checked out on this season and are already talking about next year. I don't do that, and you guys know that. I've been doing this now for 3 years, doing Talking Nets. It's going to get bigger and better. I'm going to see it through this season dolo by myself, but we will have some help. You know, the future is bright. That's the only thing I'll say about next year. By next year, I either won't be doing this or it'll be a bigger production and a better production with some people helping me out. And there will be professionals that are hired to help me out. It's not going to be me trying to source guests and help through like DMs and stuff. That's just not the way to do it anymore. This isn't minor league ball. I'm trying to play in the majors. I have to play in the majors more like it. Like, I'm already in the majors with the radio, so now I have to take the podcast to the major league as well. And I appreciate you guys' help in building this. I appreciate you guys watching and calling in and writing and, you know, repping Talking Nets and following and subscribing to the pod. So make sure you do that. Call the voicemail at 201-870-0461. Make sure you follow us across platforms: Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, IG. Not TikTok yet. I'm lacking on the TikToks, but I know I got to get on that. And yeah, we'll be back with an episode Monday. We got the Sixers game Thursday. We've got the Knicks game Sunday, and then I'll be due for an episode on Monday, so I'll see y'all then. I'll be on the radio for 5 hours tonight. WFAN, New York. Call me up if you want to talk Nets. The most that we ever get to talk Nets on the radio is when I'm on. Evan does a good job, but it's a different vibe when I'm on and I get to talk about the Nets like last night. We can do that again tonight. I'm sure we'll talk baseball. The lockout might end. I'm sure we'll talk football. Football dominates news. But if you want to talk about the Nets and this upcoming game, we can do that. Once again, I'm Keith McPherson. This is Talking Nets, episode 155. Appreciate y'all. Our world, Nets world. Let's go Nets. Let's go Nets. Brooklyn.